Yeah, well, that's Frosty the Snowman for my guest today, a member of Blake. It's none other than Stephen Bowman. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning to you.
You've got a great album out at the moment. It's been out a little while. It's called Blake, A Classic Christmas. Now, whose idea was that?
Well, we've all wanted to do a Christmas album ever since we started the group about 9 years ago. But every single time we get around to it, it normally gets to about November. It's getting cold, and we say, let's do that Christmas album. We suddenly realise, oh, damn it, we should have started about 9 months ago, because that's how long it takes to create an album of any sort. So this year we were sitting around together in February. It was a bit of a quiet month. We said, you know what, if we got started on the Christmas album now, knowing us, we might just have it ready by Christmas time. And so that's how long our lead-in period is. That's how long we have been singing Christmas songs for.
I know.
And now we feel like we're ready for Christmas.
It's a really good album. I've been playing it quite a bit myself. We will play the new single after we say goodbye. I played it last week on the show and got great response. And fingers crossed it could be number one for Christmas. Let's see how it goes. I know the story about you mentioned about Christmas records, the famous Slade song. They reckon they recorded that in July in New York, and it was absolutely about 30 degrees. And so people seem to think that it's recorded yesterday and comes out, but it's. You've got on there. You got what, 13 tracks? Yeah.
It was a lot of Christmas music, and in actual fact, Frosty the Snowman, which your listeners just heard, that was recorded on the hottest day of this summer in the UK. We had the air conditioning units in the studio turned up to full just to try and chill ourselves down to something much closer to kind of autumnal Christmas temperatures. And you've got to try and get into the Christmas spirit, so we strung up fairy lights around the studio. We got ourselves some Santa hats to make ourselves feel fun and silly. And you just got to get into the Christmas spirit about 6 months too early, and it's quite tricky. It's quite hard.
It is, isn't it? I start doing stuff with people around Pantos back in sort of like July and August, and it seems strange. It seems very, very strange, but that's the lead time it is. So you mentioned the idea of the album you've been touting around for about 6 years. Whose sort of idea was it this year? Obviously there's three of you, yourself, there's Humphrey, and then there's Ollie. Whose idea was it? You said February you were sort of sitting around, and was it your idea?
Well, basically, I said to the boys, wouldn't it be good if we'd simply made a very, very simple little Christmas album that we could sell after our concerts? That was the idea. It's a little bit similar to when you see buskers on the street. They've got their CD, and if you enjoy what they're doing, pay £10 for their CD or whatever. And it's just something a little bit extra after doing our live concerts, because we're on a big live concert tour at the moment. And that was the idea, was to do Christmas concerts and then have this little CD afterwards. And so we knew we needed to fundraise to make this album. So we went on to something called Pledge Music. And on there, people were able to have to pre-order the CD itself, or signed CDs or signed calendars, all sorts of fun kind of physical things that they could pre-order. But we also put unusual things on there, for instance, like singing lessons, one member of the band, or a concert in one of the pods of the London Eye Ferris wheel in London, or for instance, champagne picnic in Hyde Park in London, all sorts of unusual things. And we started raising funds for the album and letting people know that everything that they pledged for would go straight back into the album. And they blasted through our target within 3 weeks, and so far have reached kind of 190% of the target we needed. So it went from being this tiny little album that was going to be sold just on the merchandise desk after concerts to something that's now in every record store in the UK. It's gone crazy, and doing performances on big TV shows and things like that. It's a lot bigger than the very modest intentions we had for the CD at the beginning.
Yeah. So if you got 190%, does that mean we're going to get Christmas Volume 2 next year?
No, we just, if we were clever, we would have recorded a double album over 2 years, like they do with movies. But we actually just put everything, we basically put everything on red.
I think there's some...
Everything this year. Yeah. We're just hoping for the best.
And also, some of the album is some of the proceeds are going to charity, aren't they? The album and the single.
That's right. Yeah. We have two charities. One is Variety, the children's charity, which a lot of people will know from the Sunshine buses, which are going around the UK, which does amazing work for disabled and disadvantaged children. And the other charity, which is Dame Shirley's charity, in actual fact, is Noah's Ark, the children's hospital in Cardiff, which she started up as Wales didn't have a children's hospital, so she created one for them.
So, I mean, the rest of the album is yourselves. How did the Shirley Bassey and Blake connection, how did that happen?
Well, it simply arrived out of... we performed for Shirley Bassey a long time ago, actually, on her 70th birthday, which is actually in the first year of Blake being together. We suddenly got the telephone call saying, would you consider coming to sing Happy Birthday for this big artist? And they didn't let us know who it was. And we arrived at this big party outside of London, this big manor house, and we came on stage, and the last thing we heard was, okay, it's for Shirley Bassey. So we started singing Happy Birthday, and there was this room filled with all the glitterati, all the big names of show business, and Shirley Bassey right at the front. So that was the first time we met her, and that evening we sat down at her table and got to know her a little bit better, and had Cilla Black on one side, Bruce Forsyth on the other, and Paul O'Grady, all these wonderful characters that she knew. And fast forward 8 years to this year, and it was in August, we'd finished nearly all of the album, and we bumped into Dame Shirley at a Variety children's charity fundraiser in London. And she said, God, I haven't seen you boys in a long time. What are you up to? We said, we're making this Christmas album. She turned to us, put her hands on her hips, and said, boys, nobody's ever asked me to make a Christmas song or a Christmas album. And we said, well surely, would you want to do one with us? And we thought this was a daft thing to ask. And she said, I'd love to. And so much more rosé champagne was drunk that evening, and we thought by the time everybody woke up with sore heads in the morning, we thought, that's just one of those usual showbiz things, blah, blah, blah. Everybody talks the night before, it's all forgotten. And we got a telephone call from her manager in the afternoon saying, right, come on, boys, chop, chop, Shirley wants to make this happen.
Wow.
So that was it. So we had to record orchestras and big bands and choirs. We had to do this huge production and also a massive music video as well for Blake and Shirley Bassey. All of that happened in about 36 hours.
That's unbelievable.
Very, very fast.
Yeah, it's almost like fate, and sometimes that's the best thing, isn't it? Sometimes you plan things and it doesn't happen, but other things sort of fall into place, and they seem to work really well. Because I mean, the single is amazing. I played it last week, and we're also going to play it after we say goodbye. What does Christmas actually mean to you as a person?
Christmas means a break, and I mean that in so much that we boys in Blake we tour a lot. I mean, we tour a good 100 and. I think last year was about 140, 150 concerts throughout the year, something like that. We have a prolific touring schedule. And the good thing about Christmas Day is generally nobody wants a concert on Christmas Day. Because obviously everybody wants to be home and they want to be chilled out and they want to drink wine, sit by the fire and so on and so forth. So consequently, we know that we have at least 3 or 4 days of being off and being able to relax. So our families get to see us. We get some lovely downtime, and then usually straight after kind of the 28th or the 29th, we're off again. Because very often we perform on New Year's Eve in some part of the world as well. So it's a lovely little break for us, which we always feel is quite well deserved.
Yeah, it's quite. But people can see you on Christmas Day. You're going to be on BBC One, and you're on Strictly.
Yes, through the magic of television.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
We're recording that show soon. Is what I can say. We are recording it soon, and on the 25th we will magically appear on everybody's television screens, which is going to be. It's always the weirdest thing. A lot of the time, the TV that Blake have always done tends to be live television. So we're very used to not being able to see ourselves afterwards, or having to use catch-up or something like that if we want to watch ourselves on the Gogglebox. But it'll be a very weird thing to be sat with our families and actually able to sit down and watch this on Strictly. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, the number of people who watch Strictly's Christmas special is bigger than any X Factor show.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real honour for us to be on there, a little band like us.
Yeah, it always amazes me. I talk to people a lot and I say about Strictly and they say, oh, I never watch it. But it's the biggest show on TV, so somebody's watching it somewhere. I never miss it. I've just been out to America and I actually say the hard drive recorded it for me.
Well,
and it's a great show.
That's what we have to do most of the time.
Yeah, I think most of us do. I mean, it's a busy old life. So, yeah, I mean, so Dame Shirley's joining you on Christmas Day on Strictly.
Yes, she certainly is.
So
and we're really looking forward to it. It's a lovely show to be on anyway. And the wonderful thing is we've got Bruce Forsyth presenting the show again.
That's right. He's coming back allegedly. Well, he's coming back for Christmas Day, and I think it's a great thing. I think it's nice that Christmas Day. I think everybody's lives are getting busier and busier, and Christmas is a great time to chill out with the family. As you say, a nice glass of wine, sit in front of the fire if it's cold, and just have a great time, isn't it? I mean, I've had the pleasure of seeing you, and your concerts. I mean, I know you're doing some Christmas ones on the run up to Christmas, none in the area. But your concerts I've seen, and you do some very, very diverse songs. I mean, everything from Coldplay, Chasing Cars, through to Les Mis. And that song you do from Les Mis is an amazing song.
Well, you know, I mean, even on our Christmas concerts, those Christmas concerts actually booked into January as well, because a lot of people wanted kind of festive material that went into January. So, but we always include songs like Bring 'Em Home, even in the big Christmas shows, because there is something very poignant about a song which has, certainly for us, a lot of charity connections about reminding people about those who are less fortunate, those that, you know, maybe that they've lost in their lives recently. And Bring 'Em Home is a very powerful, touching song for a lot of people. So it's always part of the show, that one. People would storm the stage if we didn't.
I know. I saw you, I think it was last year, maybe, I think it was the year before, actually. Time goes quick, and you did Bring 'Em Home, and it makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end, for me anyhow. But I think people that don't know Blake will not realise how diverse the sort of the music you perform is. I mean, I say everything from Chasing Cars, which is actually Snow Patrol, isn't it? I said Coldplay, what a clown. Chasing Cars, which is Snow Patrol, right up to the West End classics, to the classical opera songs.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I think that Blake has never got bored of what we do. Is because there's so much variety to the music, you know, and our audiences seem to want that. You know, they love it when we'll do With or Without You by U2 one moment.
That's right.
And then 2 minutes later we're singing Nessa Dorma. Because I guess, you know, music's music, and a great song is a great song. And you can, as long as the singers in front of you are able to cross those different genres, then, you know, I think most people's music tastes are very, very wide, you know. There are very few people that actually say, I only listen to classical, I only listen to jazz, or I only listen to whatever. I think most of us have got good variety in music, and I think that's what we try to make the show, a bit of a roller coaster going through all the different genres. As
you say, a good song is a good song, isn't it? Talking about songs, you write music yourself, and you had a single out a little while, 5 years ago it is now, Unsung Hero.
Yes, yeah.
And which you wrote with Denise Rich.
Yeah, I mean, Denise Rich is one of those often quite quiet songwriters. People don't really know about her, but she wrote a song which a lot of people know called Frankie.
For Sister Sledge.
It's a great little song. And she's actually written dozens of songs for people like Mariah Carey, for Celine Dion. She's a prolific songwriter, and purely by chance, I got the opportunity to go and visit her on her yacht